Hola, ¿cómo está? Buenos dias. I'm Kevin, and today we are hiking in Will Rogers State Park. Will Rogers, of course, is the humorist who known for his famous quote, "I never met a man I didn't like." Well, obviously, Will Rogers did not get out much. He probably avoided a lot of men, he had set very low standards, or he just always hung out with women. Well, I can tell you this, I've never met a hike I didn't like, including this one. So let's take it. Falling in on this side of me today is a buddy of mine who's hilarious. He's a great writer. He's the co-creator of Everybody Loves Raymond, great sitcom. He's also starring in a new show now on Netflix called Somebody Feed Phil. Previously it was called I'll Have What Phil's Having. Today we are hiking with Mr. Foodie himself, Phil Rosenthal.
I'm avoiding the horse poop.
There's a lot of horse poop.
What the? I think the horse didn't feel well.
Did you ever do anything that was really physical, exercise-wise?
Look at me. Do I look it? I have a trainer. I go twice a week.
Yeah.
This doesn't just happen by itself.
What's your goal for the trainer?
To live.
Just to live, survive?
I just wanna not be fat. You know, as we get older, the metabolism slows down, so you have to exercise every day. And then here's the bad news. It's not enough. As we get older.
It's never enough.
It's 99% of our body is diet.
I was just going to say that.
It stinks.
I know.
Because I like to eat.
You do like to eat. You like to eat so much that you have a show on Netflix called Somebody Feed Phil.
That's it.
What better, though, to make a show about eating? Because you know all about it.
Yes, I do. I've been eating my whole life.
Are you going to be pointing out every lizard we see?
Oh, is there going to be a lot?
This is Will Rogers State Park.
Never been here. How about that?
You're welcome.
There's horses here. Hence the poop.
Yeah. What is it about horses that women love so much?
Yeah, I have a theory. I don't even know if I should say this. I'm thinking that it feels good when you ride them.
Oh, on the clitoris. And this was actually Will Rogers' home up here, and they turned it into a state park. Would you ever want to have a state park named after you?
I don't think it would ever happen.
You don't think it would?
No, maybe there'd be a sandwich, maybe. Mountain lion, where are you taking me? If you should encounter a mountain lion, wave your arms overhead and make plenty of noise to frighten it away. Does crying and screaming work?
How exciting was it to come up with the show Everybody Loves Raymond? I mean, that was your first big show, wasn't it? You were a stand-up before that.
I never did stand-up once.
I thought you did
stand-up. I did stand-up once when I was 19 years old. It scared the hell out of me.
Really?
I never did it again. But I always wanted to be a comedic actor. I watched the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
Did you always watch the Honeymooners?
I didn't always watch it, but I liked it.
I loved it.
It was a great template, I think, for your show.
It was, I guess, a template for a lot of sitcoms, but I just saw, you don't know when you're a kid that there's writing, producing, directing. I just would see Ralph and Norton. I wanted to be them.
Yeah. I watched the Benny Goodman Story with James Stewart.
Yes.
And he did such a good job at that. I went out and thought I should go take up the clarinet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you did? And
I didn't because I realized, wait a minute, I don't want to play the clarinet. I just like the movie.
That was like me when I was 6 years old. I wanted to be an astronaut, 1966. And then I realized the best part of being an astronaut was being on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah. Here's the thing about astronauts.
Yes.
When those guys came back from the moon, Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong,
right?
They lost total control of their lives. They were bigger than rock stars.
Of course.
And movie stars.
You can't go outside.
You can't go outside. They started drinking a lot.
Yes.
I think their marriages fell apart.
It's like guys who come out of prison. They can't wait to go back to the moon.
Yeah. I mean, would it be worth it to you to go to the moon and, risk your life and be isolated like that for however long it was?
Yeah.
What was it, like a year? And then come back. But then have anything you want.
Nope.
Not worth it.
No, you may die. No, they're heroes. They're very brave. They deserve that attention.
But don't you think success is just being happy in your life?
No, success is going to the moon.
And having a lot of money?
No.
Just going to the moon.
Go to the moon. And there's of course, it's a metaphor.
Yeah. You like that because of the Honeymooners.
You're going to the moon!
That's right. To the moon, Alice!
As a little kid, I would imitate them. And if I found that if I could imitate them, if I could imitate Art Carney and Jackie Gleason when my parents had company. Remember having company?
Yeah. Yeah. We're having company tonight, kids.
Yes, so behave yourself.
Behave yourself. So you can
then
play in your room.
I would come down and I see them smoking cigarettes and having cake.
Yeah.
And I thought if I could do a little something, I could get some cake.
Yeah. And have a cigarette.
Maybe a cigarette.
Look at this view.
Gorgeous.
This, huh? So you sat down with Raymond.
Yes.
And you said,
tell me about your life. So we did. And what I didn't know about his family, the characters, I filled in with the characters from my family. Right. And I wrote a pilot. And when you write a pilot, you don't know. You're just hoping that one person at CBS who's in charge of reading it likes it enough to pass it to the next person, and then maybe you get to cast it, and then if that goes well, maybe you get to make a pilot.
And had you ever made a TV show before?
No, I worked on other people's shows
so you knew
for 5 years.
You knew how it was done and all that.
I knew how to do it,
run a show.
More importantly, I knew what not to do. Once the pilot got picked up, they said, congratulations, we're picked up, who's going to run the show? And I said, I thought me. And they said, you never ran a show before. I said, yeah, but you liked the pilot, right? Yes, you liked it enough to pick it up to series, right? Yeah, I'll do more like that. And they said, you don't understand, this is now worth a lot of money. We need somebody over you to run it. I said, oh, no. I'm writing about my actual family. I don't know about every show, but I know about this show.
So that was a mix of your family and Raymond's family?
Yes. But they were going to bring in someone over me, and I quit.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Wow.
And then my agent said, don't get excited. It wasn't hardball. I was really scared and very upset to quit. I didn't do it as a ploy or a strategy.
Right.
I did it because I'm not going to work for someone else on my own show.
Right.
So my agent says, don't get excited. Let me talk to them. So he talks to them, and he calls me back, and he goes, good news. They're going to bring in a guy with experience to co-run it with you. I said, oh, if you put it that way, I quit. Because I know what'll happen.
Yeah.
He's the senior guy. He's still running the show. They call it whatever they want.
Yeah.
It's still working for somebody else on my show. So I quit, tell him I quit, goodbye. And I hang up, and my wife says, why are you sad? I said, they're going ahead with the show without me.
So what made it turn around? What made them take you back?
3 days later, they called and said they're going to let you run the show. And I think it's because I quit. I think it's because all of a sudden they think, well, maybe he knows something. So my lesson to kids out there, always quit.
But you must have been pretty scared when you came back, because now you got to prove it to them.
I was confident.
You were.
Not in every show, in this show.
In that show, because you knew it so well.
I know it so well. I know this is my family. I know, like, there's a scene in the show, the Fruit of the Month Club, right, that I put in the pilot, which really happened to me. I sent my parents Fruit of the Month. My mother called, how many pears can I eat? What did you do? I said, well, there's another box coming next month. What, every month? I can't talk anymore. There's too much fruit in the house.
Yeah.
So I put that scene in the pilot to show how crazy Ray's parents are.
Right.
This turned out to be the thing. And, when you have someone like Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle and Patty Heaton and Brad Garrett.
Such great actors all across the board.
Great. And I learned from watching other shows like Roseanne, who started as a stand-up. They surrounded her with what? Great actors. And before you know it, she's very good.
Seinfeld, too.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Although he was never good. He would admit it, I think.
Yeah.
What's great about when I watch Seinfeld is how much he's laughing. He's not pretending to be an actor. No. He's not doesn't care.
He's
it's all about the jokes. He's watching the other things. He's having the time of his life. That's the joy of that show. Yeah. One of the best things of all time.
Yeah.
And you hear his voice, you hear Larry's voice. That's what's nice.
You know what I loved about your book? What was it called again?
You're Lucky You're Funny. How life becomes a sitcom.
Nice. I love that one chapter. You say you had all your writers go home at 6 o'clock every night.
Yes.
Because they had to go home and live a life.
Yes.
And with their family so they could write about something.
You can't write about real life unless you have one. If you worked on the show, your job was to go home, get in a fight with your wife, come back in and tell me about it. Very important. Are we going down?
I'll just go up a little bit more here.
Yeah.
And then we're going to head back.
Notice the Jewish guy says, are we going down now? Kevin, it's Inspiration Point.
Have you been inspired by anything?
On the walk?
Yeah. Any ideas?
Yeah, I have an idea. I think that we should do a remake, I'm perfectly serious now, of Candid Camera. And I think you should host it.
Okay.
Because Candid Camera is one of the greatest shows of all time. It's a keystone of television.
Yeah.
Do you know that Marlon Brando, this is true, said he learned about acting from watching Candid Camera.
Because people are real.
Candid Camera is real people in extraordinary circumstances, and that's what acting is.
Wow.
And he got all that inspiration from there. And you don't see anybody going for a joke.
No.
You see them reacting, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, and I watch it now, and I'm like, damn, if he's not a genius to notice that, right? It's fantastic.
What else did you learn from Marlon Brando?
He was a good eater.
He was a good eater, and also he was good at planting
Bongos?
Notes, his lines on the table.
On your head.
And on the
There
head.
were actors who worked with him who had to have lines written on their head.
On their forehead.
It's true.
He was the best.
Did you ever meet him?
No.
My brother met him, did a commercial with him. And in his, towards the end of his life, he did a United Airlines radio commercial. My
What did he
brother
say about him?
was produced, loved him. He was a prankster. He was really fun. He got up at the end of sitting behind the desk, and he let his pants drop, just for the crew to make them laugh.
Nice. All right, let's get down the hill.
Either that, or he had unbuttoned them when he sat and forgot. Didn't you find doing SNL that it was shocking that they kept the work ethic from 1975 of not doing anything until Tuesday night, and then as if you were a kid in college, cramming for a test,
And you're on caffeine or whatever other drug to keep you up all night.
If I ran SNL, I would want to have a bank of scripts that I could depend on and hone them during the week and make them as great as possible. After seeing the way the show is put together every week, it's amazing that anything is ever funny on the show.
I know.
Here's what I do have respect for. For you guys and how talented you are and how you can, it's gotta be horrifying to know that Saturday's coming and it doesn't really feel ready.
I know. Well, Lauren always says the show's never ready to go on. It's just time to go on.
Yes.
So your show, Somebody Feed Phil, you're going to all of these great locations all around the world. You're sampling food. What have you eaten so far that you wouldn't have eaten if it weren't for the show? Like something that might have been a little disgusting to you.
That's a great question.
Because you went to Japan once, to Tokyo.
Yes.
And you ate some very funky stuff there.
I ate an ant.
You ate an ant?
I did, and I'll tell you something.
Did it fill you up?
But it comes on a plate of its beautiful salad, and there's two like big black ants on it.
How do you find the ants?
Well, there was on the side, and one was perched on like a twig to look like a tree, and one was at the bottom of the tree, like it was like a staged picture. But the first thing you think is, oh, this restaurant has a problem. They should call the exterminator.
Send it back.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're supposed to eat them. Why would I eat them? Oh, they taste like lemon. I said, oh, really? In that case, could I have some lemon?
But how big are they? Can you?
They're like an ant you would see at a picnic. Big black
like a big ant. Okay. Yeah.
So I put it in my mouth, and it took all the courage I could muster to bite down on this and makes a little crispy crunch.
Oh, that's what I heard.
Yes. Oh. But damn, if it wasn't as if someone put a drop of lemon on my tongue. So now all the questions. Wait a minute. Did you baste these in lemon? Did you squirt lemon on them right before you give them? Nope. These ants, not every ant, these specific particular ants from this part of the forest in northern Japan, they taste like lemon.
Wow.
So that's...
Well, what if you can't finish the whole ant? Can you take it home with you, the rest?
This home?
Can we box the rest of this ants? They bring out a little matchbox.
A little buggy bag.
And you've probably had every kind of fish there is, right?
I have tried many fish, yes. What's the best fish? I'm gonna say from the Copper River, I think, in Alaska. Once a year, that salmon that comes.
That's right. You recommended that to me once.
You got to come with me.
The season has passed, right?
I think it's 2 weeks, the season.
You see, I'm a vegetarian, Phil, but I will
no fish at all?
I will eat fish on a rare occasion, but it's got to be a specific fish.
Which one?
It's got to be salmon, but it has to be wild salmon.
That's the wild salmon, yes.
And it has to be from the big river in Montana.
Oh, and that you catch?
No, it has to be bear caught. It has to be caught by a bear.
And you have to wrestle that bear.
No.
What?
I don't wrestle it. I sneak up behind it. I tickle it. It laughs. It drops the fish. It's bear to table fish. It's the best. What TV shows do you watch now?
I am in love with all the late night shows. I think they're
still watch the late night shows?
They're the conscience of the country. I think
for some reason
Colbert,
I dropped off of that.
Colbert and Kimmel and John Oliver and
Yeah.
and Bill Maher, these guys, they're serving them. It's beyond comedy.
Yeah.
They serve to let us know we're not crazy.
But what's the worst habit you have?
Eating potato chips in front of the television. Yeah, I'd say that's the worst thing I do. That and the hooker murders. Those, I should cut that out.
Yeah, you should really work on that.
God,
Who were the stand-ups you used to watch on the late shows?
If you go back to when I was a little kid and I was watching the Jackie Gleason show from Miami Beach,
Yeah.
everyone was on.
Are you Jewish?
Why is it obvious?
Who were some of the comics? Was it
Don
like
Rickles.
Milton Berle and Don
Rickles would come on, and anytime Don Rickles came on Carson, it was a national holiday.
I know.
And you had to stay up. You had to watch it because you didn't have the kids today with the VCR.
You met Don Rickles recently, right? I mean,
oh yeah,
we
had lunch. Yeah,
Isn't
many
it interesting
times.
how he kind of like wants to know about what's going on in the comedy clubs,
Yes.
and the comics and who he likes.
It never ends.
He's so interested
right?
in,
Yes.
it's not even his competition, but
Yes.
they don't get why somebody's funny at that age,
Right.
They say,
right.
what is funny
What's this
about
with the
Bill
vulgar?
Burr?
With the vulgar.
What is funny about
But I also saw, we were at dinner, and a Mexican waitstaff came over to clear the table, and Don turns to him, and he says, do a good job or you'll be on the next bus back to Mexico. And the guy looked so stricken and hurt, and I had to, it fell on me to, and then Don turns back to his drink, and it fell on me to turn to the guy and go, this is Don Rickles. This is the act.
Yeah, so I used to watch guys like Stanley Myron Handelman.
Yes, I remember him.
Remember him?
Yes.
And
was he Jewish?
Maybe, I don't know. I never, like when I was a kid, I never thought like, not that I do now, but I didn't even know there were Jewish people or, I just thought everybody was funny and they were comics and,
They were the cute ones.
They were the cute ones. But then when I moved out to Los Angeles,
they were everywhere.
Everybody, the comics are like, I'm a Jew. Us Jews. I said, what is this Jew thing going around?
Am I gonna make it?
Yeah, am I Jewish? Thanks, Phil. Now there's a guy who loves life. Woo! Loves his family, loves his job, loves food. He's a big foodie, but never became an astronaut. Just as well. That's scary. I can't believe we landed on the moon. I mean, I can't believe it. I do believe it, but some people actually don't believe it. They think it was a conspiracy. And other people think, no, we did land on the moon, but when it was a full moon. Try doing it when it's a crescent moon. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not that easy. Thanks for joining my hike. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and we will catch you next time. Happy trails.
I'm just so glad that you've run out of celebrities and you got to meet them.